Welcome back to part two of growing your brand inside out. Now, reality of content creation. I recorded the whole video, but it didn't get saved. So this is round two. Now, if you haven't watched part one yet, I highly recommend that you do, because in part one, I covered three things. Why you need to start with your why self-leadership is super important, and also why self-awareness is key to growing your brand inside out. Now, in this part two, I'm going to be covering four things. Let's get started with the first piece. This piece is something a lot of us are having. Even the little gecko here agrees with me. So this piece is something that we are seeing less and less of these days. That is patience. Patience is so underrated. Many people look at somebody who's super successful, doing so well, and they compare their chapter 1 with their chapter 20, and they wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why are they being so successful? I'm here watching from the sidelines, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. Whatever I'm doing is not working. They only see the glory, but not the story. Now, behind every successful person, there are a lot of failures. And behind a lot of failures, there's a lot of patience. Because most people would say, it's too hard. I don't want to do this anymore. But a lot of successful people have gone through multiple iterations of failure before they get it. Now, if you look at J.K. Rowling, she got rejected, 14 times? And the same thing as Game of Thrones. Not giving up and having the patience is key, because now everything that we want is just at our fingertips. Now the reels are getting shorter and shorter because people can't be bothered sitting down and watching 60 minutes, let alone 15 minutes video. So if you're watching my YouTube content, thank you so much for having the patience to do so. I used to want quick fixes, quick gains. I used to brag about not having the patience. I used to say, well, if I want it, I have to get it now. And the good thing is I've been able to create a lot of things from there. But the bad thing is I've also made a lot of mistakes. And that's why I'm creating these videos, so that you don't need to repeat those mistakes. And patience is something that is so underrated, but so important, because I truly believe that if we're in for the long game, if we're talking about sustainable wealth and sustainable success, we've got to grow patience. We've got to grow roots of this patience tree. I don't know if that's even the right way to say it, but you know what I mean. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of patience, or who's feeling like you're doing the wrong things, you're not. Just hang in there. As long as you don't quit, as long as you don't give up, as long as you take step by step and bit by bit and putting that, what I call 1% every single day, you're going to get there. It's almost like when you wake up and you look up the sky, and if you're living in a location like mine, you know that the blue sky is going to be there. Or if you're in a very cold climate, you know that the clouds are going to be there, the snow is going to be there. It is inevitable. It is going to be there. And just like that, success is waiting for you. What you desire is waiting for you. But our job is to be patient and to take those step by step, so that you become more embodied, more integrated, and things do come when we become a match for that. Now, looking back, if I have what I have today 10 years ago, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I wouldn't be able to manage it, because I didn't have the wisdom, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the patience, I didn't have the team, I didn't have the skill sets, I didn't have the thick skin, I didn't have the resilience. So in order for me to be able to hold what I'm holding today, I needed to go through the last 10 years to be where I am. So have patience. And then from there, the next thing is authentic content. To me, being authentic is first and foremost knowing who you really are, what you stand for, what your core values are. If you were to show up authentically, what does it mean? It's about going inside and figuring out, what masks am I wearing? I don't know if I told you this story. This person who was highly respected, and a lot of people in his community thinks that he's God. However, behind the scenes, I was seeing a different side of him. And I said, why do you not share this side of you with other people? And he said, do not ever mention or tell anybody about this. Nobody needs to know, because they think this is who I am. That's what creates the transformation. And I don't know if I agree with that, because to me, being authentic is telling people what you know, telling people what you don't know, telling people the struggles that you go through in the right time, in the right place. And all of those things are going to be reflected in your content. And so when we are creating authentic content, nowadays more than ever, a lot of people are craving for authenticity and realness and rawness. And people have this BS meter so strong that if somebody is inauthentic, they can feel it. Now we're playing the energetic game, and people have become way more sensitive that they can feel it. Because the truth is, we can feel someone else's energy. And if you're not authentic, unless you're a pro, then they're going to feel it. So the more authentic you can be, the better. When you are authentic, that gives people a permission slip to be the same too. Now, from there, the next part is alignment. In my opinion, alignment is this. If you're a train and if you're on a track, there will be many times where you go off track. And it's about putting yourself back on track so that you're in alignment. We're always in alignment with something. It's just a matter of, are we in alignment with our core values or not? Are we getting sucked into something else? Now, I have gotten out of alignment many times in my life and in my business too. And in my opinion, it's a continuous fine-tuning. It's a continuous reflection and checking in to see, am I still on the right track? I've got sucked into the shiny object syndrome. I've got sucked into the shiny, flashy things in the business. And then I have to pull myself back, stop myself, pause myself, and look and see, is this how I want to show up online? In the last 4 or 5 years, we've pivoted and we've fine-tuned and we've gotten back on alignment uncountable times. Hey, quick side note, most of us watch these videos and never take any action, or you might want to make moves but you don't know where to start. If that's the case, start with my brand guide. If you're serious about building a brand that's going to deeply connect with your audience and make real money, I'm going to take you through step by step on how you can skyrocket your business. Grab it now. And if you are here to grow your brand from the inside out, I want you to take a moment right now and check in with yourself. Am I on alignment? Is my business on alignment? In alignment? Is the way I'm showing up online and the things that I'm saying and the content that I'm sharing, is it truly in alignment? Now, from there, the next piece is mindset. As you probably know, the ability to grow our brand is directly proportional to our ability to grow ourselves internally. Growing a business, growing a company, growing a brand, and the past 10 years journey has been my own personal development seminar, because I've had to go to those places within myself that I didn't want to go to. I had to face myself off many times. I have to go and heal, because if I don't do any of that, what you suppress will express in many different ways, and it will come out in your content. It will come out in the way you deal with problems. It will come out when your clients are not happy and the way you deal with things in your leadership. It's going to come out and it's not going to be nice. But if you continuously work on yourselves, then you get to check in and see, is this mine or is this theirs? Is this where I take ownership or is this where I draw a boundary? Is this where I'm projecting my fears or is this where I really take a few steps back? Is this where I slow down or is this where I speed things up? You're going to be able to discern and know things a lot more clearer if you do the inner work and if you work on your mindset continuously. It's not a destination, it's a journey, and it keeps on going. And from there, the last piece is about having a solid vision. In my own definition, goals are short-term or shorter terms. Goals to me could be the next 6 months, the next 12 months, or maybe the next 18 months. Whereas a vision is something that I have in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And I think that we all should have a vision for ourselves and a vision for our company or vision for our family. It could all be the same or it could all be different. That's what's going to pull you forth. Now, self-leadership is what's going to allow you to navigate the challenges. Self-awareness is what's going to allow you to reflect and see where you need to do fine-tuning. And goals are what's going to push you. And vision is what's going to pull you. So all these pieces that I'm mentioning here play a different role. And when you have a solid vision, then you're going to be able to wake up in the morning because you know where you're heading. It's almost like when you get onto a taxi, you need to tell the taxi driver where you're going, yes? But if you don't know where you're going, it's almost like you jumping on the taxi and say drive. And the taxi driver doesn't know where to drive. And hours later, you having spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars, you're still not at the destination because you're not clear of your vision. Now, your vision could be buying a plot of land off-grid where you have your own solar, your own water, you grow your own food, and you build your community. Your vision could be living in Miami, Dubai, in a high-rise building or an incredible mansion and having Ferraris and Lamborghinis or a G-Wagon, right? Or your vision can be building a foundation, building a charity where you can build schools, build wells, and help lots of people. Or your vision could be the environmental protection, whatever that is. Right? I know that one of my visions is to make sure that I'm building a solid foundation and legacy for my child and for my family. And coming from an Asian family, I look after my parents. They're very important for me. It's one of those things where, my core values have shifted over the years. Before, family wasn't a top priority. It was all about me, me, me. And now, probably as I get older, or maybe wisdom and experience, or all of the above, now my values have shifted and family is really important for me. And I'm setting up foundations. And in a very smart way. So I'm looking at investment portfolios. I'm looking at the long-term planning for my parents because they're not growing younger. They're getting older, right? They don't expect anything from me. It's just that's something that I do. I'm looking at long-term vision for the team, for the people around me, and that's just who I am. So what is your vision? And as long as you are clear, and as long as you have a vision that's going to be able to pull you forth, this whole journey is going to be meaningful, and it's going to be so much more worth it, especially when you experience challenges along the way. So how does this all relate to growing your brand inside out? And as I said before, with AI on the rise and lots of content online being created by AI, now more than ever, a lot of people are craving for that authenticity, realness, rawness, and humanness. And if you can do these pieces, if you can do the work, if you are someone who's here to build a conscious, heart-centered business where you want to actually work with real humans and really feel and truly live, this is the way to build a business and a brand. Because I truly believe that going forward, all AI generated, yep, they will be successful and they will be transactional. Whereas when there's a huge piece like the humanness in your business, where you do all these steps, this is where it's going to become premium. This is where people are going to pay a large chunk of money to work with you and your brand. So with that, we're coming to the end of part 2. If you've watched both part 1 and part 2, and if you watch these long form videos, which I'm testing, because like I said, a lot of people, like the reels are getting shorter and shorter, but I want to connect. And that's why I'm creating these longer form videos. And if you're watching till the end, thank you for your patience. Thank you for hanging out with me here where you can be anywhere else. And also, thank you for really connecting with me on a level that AI is not going to be able to connect with you. And by the way, I love AI. I love how I can harness the power of it and create a lot of things. But I also love this human connection.